97.3. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
City 97.3. Accra. City 97.3. More variety.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Salom Adonu. Tonight I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes.
We live in a constitutional era, and the Constitution makes it clear that it is the supreme law of the land. The question is whether Parliament has the authority to pass a law criminalizing sexual relations.
Private citizen and journalist Richard Elaskai wants the Supreme Court to restrain President Akufo-Addo from assenting to the anti-gay bill presently waiting to be transmitted to him. Meanwhile, pressure group Arise Ghana says the delay in assenting to the bill is disappointing. We'll hear from them, and we'll hear the argument as well. Also coming up, Ghanaian students in France on Government of Ghana scholarship appeal to government to pay their stipend. We'll touch base with all of them to see what their issues are. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Energy analyst dismisses concerns recent tariff reduction by PURC will worsen energy sector debt.
there is more business in the next 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe at citynewsroom.com. Your comments are welcome via our WhatsApp group or WhatsApp line 0549986996. You can follow me on Twitter at Salom Adonu. The hashtag, as always, is City Newsroom. Hawa gives us our first story.
A private legal practitioner, Richard Delasky, has filed an application with the Supreme Court seeking a declaration that the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, commonly known as the Anti-Gay Bill, is null, void, and of no effect. Mr. Sky contends that the passage of the bill violates Article 33, Clause 5 of the Constitution of 1992, as well as the provisions of Articles 12, Clauses 1 and 2, Article 15, Clause 1, Article 17, Clauses 1 and 2, Article 18, Clause 2 and 21, 1, that is A, B, D, and E of the Constitution. He has said that the bill's provisions raise profound concerns regarding the potential infringement of the fundamental human rights and freedoms guaranteed to every Ghanaian by the Constitution. Richard Sky, during last week's segment of the City Breakfast Show, presented an argument on why the bill should be shelved a day following its passage.
We live in a constitutional era, and the Constitution makes it clear that it is the supreme law of the land. If you read Article 1-2 of the Constitution, the supremacy of the Constitution is stated. And under Article 2.1, the Constitution says that where any enactment or something done by a person, body, or institution under the Constitution is deemed to be in conflict with the supreme law of the land, it is the mandate of the Supreme Court, in this case under Article 130 of the Constitution, or where appropriate, when you go under Article 33 of the Constitution, the High Court may make specific orders and declarations regarding what has been done and has been complained about. So that is the broad framework within which we'll tackle this matter. Now, what are the issues here? The framers of the Constitution, the legislation which just passed parliamentary scrutiny, say that there are certain practices that are alien to Ghanaian culture. They are unacceptable, they are not moral. And within that context, they propose a legislation to Parliament, taking advantage of a new dispensation under Ghana's parliamentary democracy, which allows private members to, propose bills and have them passed into law. Mind you, previously, the position from the chair in Parliament had always been that, look, these bills would impose, cost charges or costs on the public person. So they avoided it entirely. But Professor Michael Quay, the venerable former Speaker of Parliament, thought that, look, we needed a new thinking. And I agree with that. So it was in keeping with that the framers of this bill we're talking about took the bill to Parliament. It went through all the stages and was passed into law. Now, to respond to Bernard's question, the question is whether Parliament, as constituted under a constitutional democracy, has the authority to pass a law criminalizing sexual relations. Now, there are two schools of thought. The first one, which I belong to, is that Parliament, while it has the powers to pass laws under Article 106, 108, and respect and other, constitutional provisions, it does not, in my respectful view, have the authority to pass a law criminalizing sexual relations. And I'm going to say why I believe so. Because there are a number of provisions in the Constitution that deal with liberty, that deal with privacy, that deal with, respect for dignity and all kinds of things. And I can talk about Article 12, Article 14, Article 15, Article 17, Article 18, Article 21 of the Constitution. But the key to unlocking why I believe that Parliament doesn't have the authority to do what it did in terms of human rights violation is under Article 33.5 of the Constitution. Now, that provision, with your permission, let me just read it for our listeners.
33.5.
Yeah, Article 33.5 of the Constitution. Yeah. It's on the protection of rights by the court.
All right.
It says, and I quote 5, the rights, duties, declarations, and guarantees relating to the fundamental human rights and freedoms specifically mentioned in this chapter shall not be regarded as excluding others not specifically mentioned, which are considered to be inherent in a democracy and intended to secure the freedom and dignity of.
So you're saying that there are some rights not explicitly stated but still have to be guaranteed.
Exactly. Now, if you go through the Constitution, there are many rights guaranteed by the Constitution. Now, this provision, in my respectful view, is saying that the list is not exhaustive. And that to the extent that there are those other rights that are needed in a democracy as to ensure or guarantee the freedom and dignity of man, it should be possible to uphold those, given the constitutional architecture that we run. Now, we are aware that Article 17 of the Constitution imposes some restrictions when it comes to what do you call it, how much you can go with legislating for rights and all of that. And again, with your respect, with respect, let me just refer to that provision.
17.
Article 17. It says that all persons shall be equal before the law. That's clause 1. But the relevant one, clause 4, says, nothing in this article shall prevent Parliament from enacting laws that are reasonably necessary to provide A, for the implementation of policies and programs aimed at redressing social, economic, and educational imbalance in the Ghanaian society, which is not particularly relevant. B, for matters relating to adoption. Now, adoption is key here because the bill is talking about people who are gay, they cannot adopt children, right? Marriage, divorce, burial, devolution of property on death or other matters, and go. So the relevant one here is adoption, marriage, and divorce. Now, if you look at the bill says what? If you are gay or lesbian, you cannot adopt a child because you are likely to transfer, in essence, your views, your morals, and everything exactly to the child. And they don't want that. Now, the question that we should ask is whether merely because a person is gay or lesbian, he does not have the capacity to raise a child and provide love and affection to that child. That is a strong argument that can be made in the court of law, as to ask whether merely because you are gay, you are not entitled to affably taking care of a child. That's a major issue.
He had private legal practitioner and journalist Richard Delasky.
Let's speak to another private legal practitioner who is a member of parliament and incidentally one of the co-sponsors or proponents of this particular bill. He is Roxy Nelson, the member of parliament for South Dayi. Hello, Honorable. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Are you surprised that a private citizen, a lawyer for that matter, and a journalist has gone to the Supreme Court to ask for the reliefs he's seeking from the Supreme Court?
Good evening to you. I'm privileged to have joined you. As to surprise, I'm not, because Richard Sky is doing the bidding of his sponsors, so that is fine. I'm also a sponsor of the bill.
No, but let me interrogate that. No. Please, because he's gone to court as a private citizen or as a citizen of Ghana. You know that at least that is what we know.
I don't know. I beg you.
No, you wait. Let's just clarify this. He's gone to court as a citizen of the country. So I'm not sure what you mean by he's doing the bidding of his sponsors.
I have listened to him speak. He granted interview. He went to court, but he's still in the media granting interview.
No, this interview was a couple of days ago on the City Breakfast Show. You heard Bernard Avle's voice in there, you heard Caleb Kuda's voice in the zoo. This was a couple of days ago.
So you see, so you should have told me that you are playing a recorded interview. So it would have guided my response.
I apologize, but it's an interview that was granted, I think, sometime last week.
So now I'm aware that he has gone to the Supreme Court. And I've seen Richard around the court premise, the parliamentary premises a couple of times while we were considering this bill. But whatever it is, we all operate within the fringes of the law and within the remits of the law. So if Richard says that Article 17 clause, which one did he provide? Do you have it immediately?
He provided 17, Article 17, which deals with the restrictions, imposed. Let me quickly refer to that if you don't have yours.
Yes, I think he quoted 17 something. I'm in a vehicle, so I'm not able to. Refer to
okay, so you can proceed with your points whilst I make them available to you.
So let me proceed with my point. I'm saying that Richard Sky makes the point that a person who is a lesbian is being prescribed from adopting, and Richard says that is wrong. Based on which law are we wrong? Because when you are a criminal in this country, you cannot adopt. Is he aware? Is Richard Sky aware that when you are a criminal in this country, when you are a convicted criminal in this country, you cannot adopt a child? Is he aware? So we are prescribing a conduct it is within that premise that we say that a lesbian, a gay, and all those who belong to those category of LGBTQ plus cannot adopt a child. You don't want to give birth to a child and you want to adopt somebody's child and impart what to the child. Adoption is based on the welfare principle. So what sort of welfare are you seeking for the child if you are gay? So Richard shouldn't make arguments in isolation. He should make arguments in the fact that the adoption principle of a child within the matrimonial causes that and all that and adoption act is about the welfare of a child. When a child is a child, the person who is adopting the child stands in what we call in loco parentis, in place of the parent of the child. So would a child who has been brought forth by a male and a female bring the child forth in the ways of gayism and lesbianism? They won't do that. So if you are not willing to give birth to children, why do you want to adopt one? That is why we brought this provision in the law.
But will it be is it a novelty that someone who doesn't want to give birth to a child wants to adopt? We have a number of couples around, or even individuals who are not interested in giving birth or going through the process of giving birth, but they're able to adopt, and a number of them exist. So the fact that somebody is gay or somebody is gay and so is unable to give birth on his own or her own should not prescribe that person from adopting.
Yes, I'm happy you the person interviewing me, you are also a lawyer. So we speak of values. When you adopt a child, we expect that the child will be imparted with certain values. We are saying that the gay and the lesbian values cannot be imparted to our children at that age. Allow our children to attain majority, 18. They can make their own decision. And at 18, you cannot adopt, but the person can be your friend. At that stage, myself and my co-sponsor, we are not bothered. But until such time, we will not allow anybody who want to act in local parentis to impact certain values to the child. So unless we are saying that the values we espouse in our bill is not the values espoused by the Ghanaian people. So let me ask you, my brother, and I said this elsewhere, do you know how tobacco, cigarette is manufactured, is produced?
You tell us.
No, I'm asking you.
So educate us. Yes, I don't know.
Okay, so cigarette is produced from a vegetative matter called tobacco. It can be planted in any flower pot in the premises of Citi FM and Citi TV at Tesano. Once it's watered, it will grow into a tobacco. It's from a vegetative plant. There's another vegetative plant that can grow in another flower pot planted in the premises of Citi FM or Citi TV in either Tesano or Nadabraka if it's properly watered, and that's marijuana. But the nation has seen it fit to ban the smoking of marijuana and allow the smoking of vegetative tobacco, even though both of them grew from the wild. Do you know why?
Why?
Because of the effect it has on the public health. That is why two plants growing in the wild, both of a certain nicotine and THC quality, cannot be smoked by the public willingly. One is banned, one is not banned. Two plants grown in the wild. I have a right to smoke both, don't I? But the state has banned me from smoking tobacco freely, even though the Director General will tell me that if I smoke tobacco, it is detrimental to my health. But that is the health people. The state is not concerned by that matter. He has allowed me to smoke tobacco cigarette. But the same state says that I cannot smoke marijuana because of a certain value that it has and a certain effect that it has on my or my health as a person, and by and large, the public health. So rights are not absolute, my brother. I have a right to life, but I don't have a right to take my own life. If I do so, I will come in conflict with the law and I will be punished. So rights may be prescribed in the Constitution for all of us, but they are not absolute. They are circumscribed. They are subjected to certain conditions. So anybody who says that people should have the right to do as they please, as part of this LGBT thing, I'm shocked that you journalists are not talking about the fact that it's not about two men or two women desiring to have sex with themselves, but others desire to marry a pig, a dog, a goat, a cattle, a sheep, and a donkey, and bring them in the house as their spouses. I am shocked you guys are not talking about it.
No, I think it has to do with consent. So what two consenting adults, choose to do with their lives. I mean, I think that's what the discussion is. In the case of animals, I'm not sure if they have the capacity to even consent. They are not able to do so. So that is for now out of the question.
We are talking about a certain conduct of LGBTQ plus people, which has attained a term of art. And you are saying that we should allow two men to sleep with themselves, two women to sleep with themselves, but we shouldn't allow a man who says, I want to sleep with an animal?
So, yes, I mean, so the discussion really is, yes, we may agree at a certain level that this conduct should not be allowed to fester or to grow in society.
You are saying that a man should sleep with
I'm building a point. I mean, I think we've moved on from there now. I'm moving to the next leg of the discussion.
No, let me respond to you. You made a point that we should allow a man to say that he wants to sleep with a fellow man, but we shouldn't allow another man who says that he wants to sleep with an animal.
No, but I made a point about consent. Right? How about consent and capacity?
Who is talking about consent and capacity? Is it not the case that two people can agree that they want to go and take another person's property? There's a consent there, but there's a crime that has been committed.
No, the consent is not with the owner of the property to be taken. If the consent was with the owner of the property, then that would not be a crime.
Exactly. That is the ingredients we are creating. So now you are talking about ingredients of what constitutes what we call stealing. So what about two persons who agree that they want to smoke marijuana? Have they not agreed?
But I think you are talking about. I'm not sure if you are mixing conspiracy and consent. If the two of us agree to do something, that'll be conspiracy, will it not? If I agree with you to do something with you, which has something to do with you, we talk about consent, or?
Yes, you just said consent. So you are talking about consensual sex.
Yes.
Yes, consensual sex. What is consensual sex? Between two men. The act is prescribed. And you are saying that because two people have agreed that they want to have sex with themselves, it should be lawful. No, the act is what is prescribed. So when two people agree that they want to go and steal another person's property, the fact that they agree that they want to go and steal is immaterial. The fact that they have committed the act is what is prescribed. So consent is not always material in the formation of a crime. The act in itself can constitute what we call a crime. So that is why two persons can agree that they want to do something, but what they want to engage in, if it's criminal, the agreement is no longer a consent, but it is a conspiracy. So when two people agree, two men agreed to go and have sex with themselves or with other persons who are also males, it is no longer a consent, it is a conspiracy to engage in an offense.
I see. Now let's move let's move the discussion on. Many people, I mean, generally agree with the bill, the fact that the conduct should be prescribed, etc. In fact, that appears to be the general view of many Ghanaians from surveys done, etc. But what many people do not seem to agree with is the custodial sentence. So, can something be done about the fact that persons caught in this act or persons caught by this law, I mean, if President assents to it, rather than being jailed, could be given some other form of punishment. Is there anything that can be done about that?
Why? We considered it. You think we did not? This bill witnessed the submission of over 200 memoranda. And don't make the mistake that these 200 memoranda didn't consider all the perspectives to this bill.
Yes, but now that it is out, it appears that is a major.
So let me ask you. A person commits an offense and is convicted by a court of law under any provision of this bill by, say, prosecution from, say, the Nima police station. So he gets to court, his prosecution begins, and then he pleads guilty, and then he's fined. All right? So he pays the fine, and he walks. That is non-custodial. Even though the person has been convicted, is not convicted to, is not sentenced to a custodial sentence. So the option for the court is to impose a fine. So he pays, let's say, 2,000 penalty units. So 2 times 12, that is 24. So he pays some 24,000 Ghana cedis, and then he walks. Then a month later, the same person is brought before the court for a similar offense. Then the court is compelled by circumstances to impose another fine. Then 2 months later, he comes back for committing a similar offense. Mr. Adonu, are you saying that when this happens before a court of law, where an offender comes back is brought before the court on charges of repeated offenses that have already been determined by the court in respect of the same person, it shouldn't be, there should be no custodial sentence imposed on the person? You see, the imposition of a custodial sentence is to say that the person is a danger to the greater society. It's not simply about putting the person in prison. The fundamental principle about putting somebody in prison is that the person poses a danger, is a pollution to the greater society. So he must be isolated and confined until such time that he becomes puritanical, as we say in criminal law, in terms of his offending mind. So if you say that gay people should not be persons who will be convicted under the provisions of this law should not be convicted and sentenced to custodia, but only a fine, there will be so many repeat offenders, this society will be overwhelmed. So the prison option is there for a reason. And that is why we have also created a provision, a penal provision, allowing the court to impose a fine or a prison term or both, depending on the circumstances and gravity of the offense that have been brought before the court.
I see. Just on a factual matter, I know that the bill was passed unanimously by Parliament and you adopted a voice vote method. Can you talk to me about the number of people in the chamber at the time? Will you know, as in terms of quorum?
The number of people in Parliament is determined by documentary evidence. It's not determined by the TV cameras. So if you wanted to speak to the number of MPs present in Parliament for purposes of his business on Wednesday, that's tomorrow will be a week, we have to have recourse to the evidence available.
Very well. That's why I asked whether you know. Maybe it has come to your notice, or maybe you checked as a matter of fact.
I've seen the release, and I don't know the tangent upon which they are proceeding. But
no. Of course, I'm mindful of the fact that the matter is in court, and so we should be careful about how we discuss it.
The Supreme Court is very clear in Abdullahi versus Abdullahi. That is Abdullahi versus Attorney General. Courage is not determined by video cameras. It's determined by the documentary evidence of number of MPs in Parliament. Today, for instance, we've proceeded to work on the Environmental Protection Act, the Environmental Protection Bill. We were just about 60 on the floor enacting the law, but there were a lot of MPs at the Appointments Committee which were vetting the president's own nominees. Is the president saying that we shouldn't vet his nominees once we are enacting another law that is being brought in his name? So there are protocols and procedures in Parliament to determine attendance. And this matter in the Supreme Court, my brother, when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it.
Very well. I mean, the discussion has also brought up the matter of community sentencing. Again, will you know, I know, of course, that your colleague, Francis Xavier Sosu, is presented a private member's bill or submitted a private member's bill to the House. Will you know the status of that as we speak?
The submission of a private member's bill by another MP has nothing to do with what we have done. A private
No, I'm just asking because I said it has also come up that instead of jailing them, yes.
I see exactly the angle angle at which you are proceeding, but I'm saying a private member's bill in respect of community sentencing is no law. The law enforces that every offense that is determinable under an enactment of Parliament of the Republic of Ghana has a sentencing regime provided by the same Parliament of Ghana. And that is how we are proceeding.
I see. Interesting days ahead. But one other matter that has come up is, I mean, in the general public, is can somebody challenge a bill that has not been assented to yet? What's your legal opinion on that?
No, you and I are trained minds. You and I are lawyers. I may be your senior in the law, but the fact that we're all lawyers is very, very important. If you read the interpretation placed under an act of parliament and then an enactment of parliament, all right, in the constitution itself, and then when you proceed under Article 106 of the Constitution, to the extent that a bill that has been passed by parliament but has not been assented to has certain definite procedural stages to go through. So, for instance, where the bill is remitted to the office of the president and is not minded to exercise his assent but to want to veto, you know the timeline that the Constitution places on the president in doing so. For instance, it says that if he is minded to refer the bill to the Council of State, then he must refer to Parliament within 7 days. But where he will not refer the bill to the Council of State, but he is simply minded to exercise his veto, then within 14 days he must give reasons for doing that. And also indicate that perhaps he has reasons, he has reservations regarding certain provisions of the law. All those provisions in the Constitution never referred to the law as an act of parliament but as a bill. So, if anybody proceeds to interpret the stage of this bill as it's passed through parliament but awaiting assent as an act of parliament, not gazetted, not numbered, has no effect in law as an act of parliament, then of course you and I should change our mind and our position on the jurisprudence we were taught in legal methods and all.
I see.
So a bill, look, there are a lot of case law on this matter. A bill, until it receives a presidential assent, constitutes merely an intent of parliament. It is not a law. It is merely an intent of parliament to pass a legislation. In fact, are you aware that the speaker and the clerk can refuse to remit this bill to the office of the president for his assent? And that's the end of it.
Yes, speaking about 106, I mean 106.10 actually talks about what happens if the president refuses to give assent to the bill. It says that
recounted that.
Yes, I'm just making a point. So It says that Parliament can pass a resolution of 2/3 of its members to make the president do it, and they said the president shall assent if this happens. Yes. Let me just land. Parliament passes unanimously. It does appear that some divide is emerging, led by Afenu Markin. He initially tried it, but it was aborted somewhat. It appears that the government executive is now on one side, and Parliament is also on another side. Given a kind of system we run where the separation of powers is not watertight, are you concerned that the unanimity that this bill, enjoyed in its passage may suffer a setback if it should come back requiring this 2/3 majority?
The bill may suffer a setback in the manner of original persons who supported it, original persons like the Honorable Afenyo Maki, who gave it 100% votes at the principal stage, which is the second reading, where they voted that yes, the bill is good enough to proceed to consideration. It may suffer their support at this stage, but I don't think their support will be sufficient enough for us to get 2/3 majority to support it in Parliament.
Very well.
Let me explain why. The vote on this matter, if we go through the procedure provided by the Constitution, where the President is mandated to indicate his reservations in respect of the provisions of the law, and also propose amendments and justify them, which will be forwarded or remitted to Parliament for consideration, and after which Parliament must by 2/3 majority resolution pass it into law, and after which the President will have no option than to assent to it. We are waiting for MPs who will cast their vote against this bill. All right?
Very well. Thanks so much for speaking to us. Pleasure as always. Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo.
It's my pleasure, my friend.
Yes, is member of Parliament for South Day and one of the proponents to this anti-gay bill, and he's just been speaking to us on the writ filed by Richard Delaskai, seeking to restrain the president from assenting to it, and a number of other issues that that reliefs he's seeking from the Supreme Court. Now, another group, a pressure group called Arise Ghana, also has an issue. It says that it's disappointed that the president hasn't done the needful yet. Bernard Mona is one of the conveners of this particular pressure group. He joins us on the line. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What we know is that the bill has not yet been transmitted to the president for the president to consider it and even decide whether or not he will want to assent to it. Why are you disappointed that he hasn't done so? He doesn't have it yet.
Good evening to you and to your many viewers and listeners. Just to start from the last question, that the bill has not been sent to the president. And yet the president has the gusto to speak about the bill and the fact that he is unable to do so, to assent to it, and that all of us should wait because the legal challenge has been mounted on something that he, the president, is yet to put into law. That should tell you the level of the president's understanding of law himself, even given that he is a lawyer. He should have known ab initio that until and unless he assents to the bill, it has not become a law. And nobody can go and challenge something in court that is not legal. It must be legal before it can be challenged. And therefore, if I'm taking the assumption that what you are saying is that the president has not been clothed with the authority yet, how is it that the president is in a position to talk about it publicly the way he did?
No, but we've all seen the bill. So, for example, I have not officially been given a copy. I will not be given a copy officially. The president has to be given a copy. It has to be indeed transmitted to him from the office of the speaker. That hasn't been done yet. He might have read it on the internet, or he might have been given a hard copy to go through, or he might have been briefed on it. But officially, he has not been given a copy. It hasn't been transmitted to him. So he can't sign it. I mean, so that's the point we're making. So you saying that you are disappointed that there's a delay, isn't that here nor there, because the bill hasn't gotten to his desk yet?
I don't know why you are just reveling in what you just stated. There is no bill before the president, right? According to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the president says that, no, there is a challenge mounted on a bill before me. And therefore, I am not able to assent until the courts take a decision. And you are challenging me that there is nothing before the president. To the best of my knowledge, Parliament has passed everything, and it is the duty of Parliament to communicate same and put before the president. I am not aware Parliament has not done so. That is one. If I am not aware, and you are claiming that President Akufo-Addo has not been given, then President spoke before. It's like President hatched before the eggs were laid.
Well, let me provide you some context.
The president's statement suggests that the bill has come to him, and that is why he is not able to sign it, and is urging us to wait for a private person that has gone to court to challenge the legality of a bill.
Let me provide you some quotes from what the president said. He said, and I'm quoting, "I think it will serve little purpose to go at this stage into the details of the origin of this proposed law, which is yet to reach my desk. But suffice it to say that I have learned that today a challenge has been mounted at the Supreme Court by a concerned citizen to the constitutionality of the proposed legislation. In the circumstances, it would be as well for all of us to hold our hands and await the decision of the court before any action is taken. The operation of the institutions of the Ghanaian state will determine the future trajectory of the rule of law and human rights compliance in our country." That's what the president has said. And indeed, the leader of the House, the Honorable Apenjumakin, yesterday at this press conference, said that he knows on authority, because he's the leader of the House, that the bill has not been transmitted by Mr. Speaker to the president. So these are two key persons speaking. The president, who is to receive the transmitted bill, and one of the key persons who will have to see to the transmission with the speaker, telling us that the bill hasn't reached where it has to reach. And we disagree with them?
I totally disagree, because if you see the chicanery of the president in this matter from day one, you would appreciate that the president is no different from his antecedents who were opposed to our independence as a nation. The independence of Ghana is being submitted to the colonialists in a manner that is even more dangerous. As it stands now, if you take the fact that President Akufo-Addo, just ignore the fact that he said is bound to happen, and also come closer when Kamala Harris came here. President suggested to Kamala Harris that why this bill is a move by some individual MPs, and that it was not an executive decision, meaning that he was directly telling the United States of America that don't crucify my government for a bill that will ensure proper family values for the people of Ghana, but crucify these individual MPs because we, as a party or as an executive, will not have done that. Come forward, the Ministry of Finance then decided to belch by announcing that, look, the passing of this bill has some economic and financial implications, and that Ghana will suffer some millions of dollars if this bill is assented to the president. So they wrote a love letter to President Akufo-Addo. Out of that, the president then comes to tell us that, look, I have heard from the public domain. I ignore the origins of the bill, but take into fact that some private person has also gone to court. And in view of that, let's hold on to the signing or ascension of the bill. That is not how it is done. The president is supposed to know that once the bill is before him, he is duty bound to sign or to reject and to give reasons. He is not giving reasons for which he is rejecting. He's just saying that let's hold on, I will not sign, even if it has been brought to his desk. So the question is not whether the bill has been brought to the desk of the president or not. What the president is saying is that he has agreed. He has agreed that he will not sign the bill. And that is where the people of Ghana are bitter. President is suggesting that a man can take your penis and thrust into another man's anus. A woman can take your vagina and thrust onto another woman. That is what President Akufo-Addo is saying.
Very well. Bernard, we'll thank you so much. But are you not concerned about the averment of the finance ministry or minister regarding how much Ghana stands to lose in terms of aid if this bill is given presidential accent?
What has happened to the president's daily talk of Ghana Beyond Aid? What has happened to that mantra? That is one. Number two, who says that our laws, things that we think and we hold dear, must be subjected to the financial consideration of Western institutions and their way of life? What has happened to our independence? Indeed, the antecedents of the MPP, who rejected our independence, are today in power. They, Akufo-Addo and Co, are in power. And we can see that they are now ready to auction that independence that we fought for. And fortunately, tomorrow, President Akufo-Addo will have the opportunity to address this nation on our Independence Day. And I want to see whether that independence is what enabled him to become president, for which he has to compromise for other countries' interests. I am disgusted as a Ghanaian to see that our president cannot hold aloof the Ghanaian and African identity.
Very well. Thank you so much, Bernard Mona, one of the conveners of Arise Ghana, a pressure group, saying that it is disappointing that the president is delaying or avoiding his assent to the Human Rights and Family Values Bill, which was passed by Parliament last Wednesday, February 28, 2024. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. A number of your messages have come through, and Hawa will read some of them.
Gideon writes from the Eastern Corridor. You didn't state to which part, but you write that President cannot be building National Cathedral for God and refuse to sign anti-gay bill just because what he and his family and friends will benefit from donors. Let's vote out this government and save our culture and value. Aziz Donla in Wa says the World Bank and other international donors can stop financing our budget. Certainly, we will not eat grass. Unfortunately, if not because of corruption and bad governance, which is causing us more poverty, we wouldn't need them to develop our nation. Let me state without fear of contradiction or embarrassment that LGBT is a no-no for Ghana. This one from Amisco Spelele in Kaswa Republic says, indeed, our values and culture must be protected. Anyway, let's wait patiently for the decision of the Supreme Court on the bill before a decision is taken. Zalex Dwayne in London says, I disagree with my good friend Richard Delaskai. Ghanaians don't want LGBT. Akam Zoom Nawuni Akam from Lushegu says, what is the legal practitioner talking about? What is right is their right. Even second-class animals found on it. And Jones Adobo in La says, this is a calculated trick by the president to delay the signing of the bill. Isn't it the same president who signed e-levy against all odds? Isn't it the same president who campaigned on Ghana Beyond Aid? Now you are seeing your real size. God help Ghana, you writes over there. General Ortega says, this is the price we are paying for disobeying and betraying Nkrumah. How do you sing your own song with your mouth in another person's kitchen? And the final one from Al-Hassan Hamdan in Yoni South. He says, what is keeping President Akufo-Addo so long to sign the anti-gay bill? He should use the speed that he used in signing the e-levy to sign the bill, or he should come clear and let us know his position and stop using political gymnastics on the issues because it's not helpful. Last one from Prince Henry in Koforidua. President Akufo-Addo will not sign the LGBT bill because he has already told us that it's bound to happen. And the question you are asking is, has President Akufo-Addo forgotten about his own mantra, Ghana Beyond Aid? The future is pregnant, you add Proverbs 29:2.
All right. So, Richard, the last guy was my colleague at Citi FM and also a lawyer, my colleague at a bar, and my personal colleague and brother. He's issued a statement. He is not presently available for an interview. He's issued a statement, and portions of that statement I'll read to you. This one quote says, this action is not a declaration of my personal stance on LGBTQ individuals per se, but a conscientious effort to ensure the strict adherence to and protection of the constitutional framework that governs our society. Other portions of the statement says or say that this legal challenge is grounded in the belief that every legislative process and the laws emanating therefrom must align with the constitutional mandates that guide our nation. It is imperative that we scrutinize and challenge any legislative action that appears to contravene the Constitution to safeguard our democracy and the rights it guarantees to every citizen, regardless of their stance on any particular issue. It goes ahead to say that in my unwavering pursuit to combat breaches of the Constitution, promote human rights, and deepen the tenets of rule of law, accountability, and responsible citizenship, I co-founded the Article 2 initiative. This emerging think tank is, among other things, dedicated to protecting and defending the Constitution of Ghana and the rights enshrined therein. We aim to foster a robust constitutional culture in Ghana, empowering every citizen to uphold and defend the principles that safeguard our collective freedoms and dignity. It concludes by saying, I call upon all Ghanaians to view this legal action in the light of a patriotic endeavor to preserve the integrity of our Constitution and the democratic values we hold dear. It is a testament to our collective determination to ensure that Ghana remains a beacon of democracy and rule of law in Africa and around the world. Signed by Richard Delasky. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Indeed, this has been the major news item in the country. Of course, there's parliamentary vetting ongoing of the president's nominees for various positions and a few other things. We'll take a short break, return with more. Don't worry.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope day.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Yeah, welcome back. Now, Ghanaian students in France on Government of Ghana scholarship have appealed to the government to pay their stipend. According to them, the government has failed to pay their stipend, running into arrears of more than 5 months. The situation, they say, is negatively affecting their livelihood in a foreign land. Hence, they appeal for the government to speedily attend to their request. One of them spoke to Citi News on condition of anonymity.
The last time we received, in my case, and most of my colleagues, was 7 months ago. We received a stipend, a bulk stipend for 10 months. Apparently, this happened right after there was some agitation globally, where students who were on the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, that we were expecting that they would at least try and pay regularly so that we don't have this kind of problem. But it looks like the same trend is following. Like I'm saying, it's ending of February was 7 months. We are now in March, and we still haven't It's very difficult. So when you are in a foreign country and, for example, like I said, I am in France and you don't have a job. I mean, you're a student. You're there to study. So all your attention, your time is given to study. So when this happens, then you are like forced to try and look for a job or something, some extra money.
That was a Ghanaian student on Government of Ghana scholarship in France speaking to Citi News on condition of anonymity.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know your papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, papa! Bobo! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Tell you guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
I'm afraid. Media some bisanda mo. Eti e mo tiaro. Mu we planet me fi na mo bodom pe mo man yakono. Eye kwabna. Na mu wonso na timi just male me ma yoni nyina de. Eye kojo. En kro. Complete me wi na bodom pe mo sense o yin president eba. Aye de yan ban ni do braye. Bu si echi na mo ban na sem ma na hode ne. Sa ani na kudwo nso yin president chako. Na no ne de e ma wo se wo ye kreje fita. Na wotimi asiri bejo ma na feel you. Hey, kojo. Sa. Yeah. President Eba and President Chako. Afedie. Ya kono natural.
FDIJ Jadi Nkatuyatu.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC, GCB Personal Loan. Make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Details of our stories now. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission PURC has dismissed concerns that the recent 6.56% electricity tariff reduction for certain consumer groups will worsen the energy sector debt. The independent power producers on Monday raised concerns that the country's power sector is nearing a critical point. However, in a statement released on March 5, the Executive Secretary of PURC, Dr. Ishmael Aka, stated that the PURC is conscious of the financial viability of all utilities and the well-being of the consumer. Meanwhile, energy analyst Benjamin Insia has also downplayed the impact of the reduction, suggesting that there are more pressing issues within the energy sector that require attention.
An acceptable framework within which tariffs are adjusted quarterly upward or downward. And I think that based on these framework and indicators, the PURC is seen it very prudent to adjust electricity tariffs for some users in the second quarter of 2024, based on first quarter indicator. So for IPP to come out and say that it's likely to balloon the debt in the energy sector, I don't see that to be the truth. There are already incumbent factors or factors with that are increasingly ballooning the debt in the energy sector, not actually about tariff adjustment. One is that government itself is not ready to pay some debt it owes the IPPs, whether historical debt or current debt.
He had energy analyst Benjamin Insia. As the city's depreciation continues unabated, market watchers are urging sustained effort to stabilize the local currency against further shocks. The year-to-date depreciation of the city has already surpassed 5%. This loss in value to the American Green Book, for instance, has caused significant forex pressures on the retail market. Research lead at GCB Capital Limited, Courage Boti, tells City Business News there is the need to check the volatilities to improve the performance of the city.
What we have is fragile recovery that needs anchoring, needs sustained efforts. And the truth is, the Bank of Ghana doesn't generate reserves. They generate reserves only from the economic activities ongoing in the local economy. So to the extent that interventions are not going into that segment as much as we would have loved to, in terms of government programs, private sector expenditure that would generate export proceeds and all of that, then we may not be able to generate enough. Thankfully, our balance of trade account has been in surplus for a long time now, but it is not a solution in that we have the surplus current account position because of a certain caveat. If that is out of the way, we are back under pressure. We need to start thinking about long-term solutions to some of these things. And it's not immediately in the forward auctions and all of that. So I think we are in a fragile recovery phase and we need to do all we can to entrench that recovery. Otherwise, the slightest shock can actually reverse everything. And we would have the inflation consequences and probably 2022 play out all over again.
Courage Boti is research lead at GCB Capital Limited. FBN Bank Ghana has assured of working with the Bank of Ghana and all relevant agencies to resolve all trade-related issues raised by the regulator. This follows the suspension of the foreign exchange trading licenses of Guarantee Trust Bank Ghana Limited and FBN Bank Ghana Limited effective March 18, 2024. The banks were suspended for breaching the foreign exchange market regulations, which include fraudulent documentation in their foreign exchange operations. Here are portions of a statement by the FBN Bank Ghana in reaction to the BOG suspension.
We refer to the Bank of Ghana's announcement of the 30-day suspension of our foreign exchange trading license effective March 18, 2024, and would like to update our valued customers and esteemed stakeholders that we are working with the Bank of Ghana and appropriate government agencies to resolve the identified trade-related matters. FBN Bank would like to assure its valued customers that when the suspension kicks in, the bank's other business segments and solutions will be fully operational. This will include branch operations, agent banking partners, and channels for seamless banking. We reaffirm our commitment to our customers and stakeholders and will continue to uphold high ethical standards that we are known for and will work to resolve all issues raised by the regulator.
Those were excerpts of a statement by the FBN Bank Ghana Limited. Aggrieved customers of defunct Black Shield Capital Limited, formerly Gold Coast Fund Management Limited, have described the public hearing of the ad hoc committee tasked with investigating issues related to their locked-up funds as transparent. The committee, set up by the Speaker Alban Bagbin in December last year, brought its public hearing, which commenced on Wednesday, February 28, to an end yesterday. In an interview with City Business News, the convener of the group, Charles Nyame, expressed optimism about the potential outcome of the committee's investigations.
We will say it's been positive. And if there has been any time that, as far as the customers of Gold Coast Fund Management is concerned, we have been hopeful of getting this 6 years crisis to an end, it is this time around that the committee have set on the matter and trying to find lasting solution to the problem. In fact, the impression we got from the committee's work, I would say, is far positive because you could see the commitment within the committee, very ready to get to the bottom of the issue and provide solution to it. So it was a transparent proceeding and we are happy with it.
That was the convener of the aggrieved customers of defunct Gold Coast Fund Management, Charles Nyame. The Chief Executive of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahin Edu, has highlighted the need for institutions within the cocoa value chain to broaden their scope of programs offered and introduce innovative programs that would produce the next generation of local engineers to transform the local cocoa processing sector. He explains that focusing attention on the young generation of farmers is the surest way to ensure the future of the cocoa industry is secured. The CEO of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahin Edu, made the call during the inauguration of the Governing Council of the Bunsu Cocoa College in Accra.
We expect them to broaden the scope of the programs. Currently, they are running only one program, which has to do with agronomy. We want them to broaden it because cocoa is not just about agronomy. If you look at the supply chain or the value chain, the agronomy aspect is just a small, tiny sector, and that's the production sector. And the reward, the benefits, the income, the remuneration is actually not there. The remuneration is in the remaining part of the supply chain. And I expect them, that's what I indicated, that I expect them to come out with programs that will focus more on the remaining, programs that will do with, say, trading, that will do with, speculation.
That was the Chief Executive of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahin Edu, ending City Business News on Eyewitness News. The business news on Eyewitness News is brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Hello, Linda. You won't believe what I am planning next. I want to start my postgraduate degree, buy a car, and build my dream home. But you know what's stopping me?
What's that, Mike?
Money, oh. That'll be my biggest wahala.
Oh, you are sorted, Cry. With a GCB Big Move personal loan promo, you can borrow up to a whopping 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours.
Like, seriously? How do I qualify?
Yes, it's available to all GCB salary account holders. Plus, you get a 2-month grace period before you start to pay back.
Susket, I'm opening an account with GCB now.
Get a personal loan of up to 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours. Call 0800-422-422 or visit your nearest GCB branch today to fund your next big move as we celebrate 70 years of greatness. T's and C's apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Ghana must grow.
KB, yo. KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope days.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
You know, Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman Mane. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Tonight on Point Blank, we'll touch base with the Caravanites briefly and go to something else. Of the Heritage Caravan say they have been enriched by the history of the Ashanti Kingdom after a tour of the Mensha Palace Museum in the Ashanti region. The museum houses exhibits such as royal regalia, photographs, medals, furniture, drums, and palanquins that date back several years. Speaking to Citi News, some patrons expressed how their knowledge of the rich composition of the Ashanti Kingdom has been broadened.
For me, it was how the Ashantis, the lineage, as to passing on the kingdom to the next chief, and how dethroning is done, and how powerful the Queen Mother is. Largely, that is it. That's the most powerful thing. And one of the big highlights is what I saw in there. I'm talking about the statues, if I should call them that way. Beautifully done. I mean, they look so real. And I'm happy to hear that even though those ones there were made from London, Madame Tussauds, I'm told that now KNUST has people who can do such wonderful things. So it's good to learn that we can do as well as others are doing.
Well, I think that it's very unique. The stories are quite different from what we know, and the authenticity of the stories sort of help you align as a Ghanaian, even if you're not from the Ashanti Kingdom. Take bits from what you know from school and other things that you have heard growing up. You come here and it's like a learning, unlearning, and relearning process.
So here's some of the patrons on the 2024 Heritage Caravan speaking about their experiences from the Mensha Palace Museum in the Ashanti region. Now let's touch base with them. They are in the Bono region now. My colleague Umaru Sanda Amadu, host of Eyewitness News, is with a team. And we saw him earlier in the week trying to rap and do some things on the bus. Umaru Sanda Amadu, welcome to Eyewitness News. Where exactly is the caravan as we speak, and what have you been up to?
Thank you, Salom. The caravan just arrived at the capital of the Bono East region, Sunyani. In fact, we are just discharging or uploading the buses, and patrons are carrying their luggage as we speak to check into the great Newsroom hotel, which has become a key characteristic of the Heritage Caravan. So just disembarking into Newsroom hotel where we're going to spend the night. There's going to be a live band music happening after dinner tonight. But this afternoon, I must say that we stopped in Boma. It's a community in the Kano North constituency of the Bono of the Aborigine, where Dr. Gilongaku, the spokesperson of the vice president, is a parliamentary candidate, and he hosted the team to lunch. We went to his home to eat lunch, the old 170 Caravanite. In fact, when he heard that we're coming to Sunyani, he made a special request to management of Citi FM and Citi TV that he would want to host the team to lunch, and that was done. That was honored him, and the ceremonies appeared today to do the delivery of to come honor him and host the lunch or have the lunch in his house. We have moved in here. We came through from Kumasi, where we made a stop at the Mesha Palace Museum, where people were taking through the museum and showing the relevant Ashanti history that they needed to know. We took off this morning from the Rock City Hotel in the Eastern region. So we crossed Eastern region, entered Ashanti region, and now we've done Ahava region, and we are in the Bono East region, the regional capital of Yanisalam. We spent the night here, and tomorrow we take off for the Upper East regional capital, Bolgatanga, where we will continue to the Paga Crocodile Pond, enter Burkina Faso, before descending southwards the following day towards the northern regional capital of Tamale. Salam.
Very well, Marisana, thanks so much for speaking to us. I think a number of people have suggested that they will produce you when you eventually touch down on your new found endeavor, rap music.
You want the world to know how embarrassing I perform.
No, the world already knows. The world already knows because it's all over the place.
I know that I did a terrible job with that singing, but because I'm the bass captain, and I think my bass members wanted to be sycophantic, like politicians do to their bosses. They all said, "Hey, I did well." In my head, I know I didn't do anything. But
I think you are a talent, and we will try and enroll you on the next edition of Voice Factory, so that at least you could be trained properly and you make some side money from rapping.
I pray for the judges on that panel because they do a lot of honing and a lot of training. I don't know if they succeed this year, but I am grateful that you trust in me, Salam. We'll see what happens.
As always, all the best, Omari Sandamadi. Omari Sandamadi is my colleague. He's on the Heritage Caravan, speaking to us on the itinerary. All right, so on another matter, we bring you a speech delivered by President Akufo-Addo when he met members of the diplomatic corps at the Peduasi Lodge. The president spoke about Ghana's economic challenges, Ghana's contribution to global peace and security, and also touched on the LGBT matter.
I must at the outset express my appreciation to the dynamic dean of the Diplomatic Corps, His Excellency Maher Kaya, Ambassador of the Republic of Lebanon to the Republic of Ghana, for the message he expressed on behalf of the Corps. With less than a year to the end of my mandate, I continue to look forward to continued cordial and fruitful relations with you, which I'm certain will help to continue to create and spread prosperity and opportunities for all. This event remains a testament to the very rich and fruitful relations Ghana enjoys in the Committee of Nations, as well as our commitment to maintaining strong bonds of friendship and partnership. Long may it continue. Excellencies, we've assembled here today at a time of continuing global economic uncertainties, occasioned by tight financing conditions, climate change, the Russia-Ukraine war, the Israel-Hamas conflict, and political instability in several parts of the world, particularly in West Africa. These rising geopolitical and economic tensions have affected adversely the economic fortunes of developing countries, including Ghana, posing major threats to the attainment of global, continental, and regional development goals agreed on by the international community in the areas of peace and security, development cooperation, human and food security, and climate change. Despite the difficult economic conditions, some countries like Ghana through the adoption of prudent fiscal and monetary measures, have demonstrated resilience, resulting in the resurgence of their economies. The nation's post-COVID-19 program for economic growth, supported by the 3-year, $3 billion United States dollars IMF extended credit facility, is helping to propel the economy to higher rates of growth. Notwithstanding the complexities that define the global landscape, we are confident and optimistic about the future. The macroeconomic environment is already showing strong signs of stability and recovery, underlying the significant potential of structural reforms and sustainable industrialization. Since the inception of the program, Ghana has remained committed to restoring macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability, which will lay the foundations for stronger and inclusive growth, with focus on entrepreneurship, job creation, and protecting the vulnerable and the poor. In order to consolidate the gains achieved so far, priorities for 2024 include macroeconomic stabilization, fiscal consolidation, aggressive domestic revenue mobilization, expenditure rationalization, structural reforms, and social protection, completion of the debt restructuring program, implementation of the growth strategy with a focus on value addition, export promotion, domestic and foreign investments, agriculture, industry, tourism, textile and garments, and digitalization. Leveraging climate financing for green growth. Completing of ongoing infrastructure for poverty eradication projects rather than the initiation of new ones. Construction of road infrastructure, rural electrification, and expanding telephony. Intensification and implementation of educational reforms. Completing the issuance of Ghana cards and the promotion of peace and security, with particular emphasis on the peaceful conduct of the 2024 general elections. Bilateral cooperation between Ghana and your various respective countries have resulted in several positive economic outcomes on issues such as development finance, trade and investment, science, technology and innovation, transport and migration, and education. We're particularly grateful for the support received from your governments towards Ghana's sustained socio-economic development in several sectors of our economy, not least in education, culture, agriculture, health, science and technology, banking and finance, human resource development, defense and security, water management, sanitation, women empowerment, environmental protection, small medium enterprises development and entrepreneurship, and renewable energy. Your Excellencies, I want to extend the appreciation of the Ghanaian people and their government to your governments and peoples for their support during Ghana's 2-year tenure as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, which came to an end on 31st December 2023. Through collaborative efforts, Ghana was able to bring to global attention issues concerning peace and security in the West African region and support for regional initiatives such as the Accra Initiative. Ghana is also happy that she managed to play a leading and very active role in mobilizing consensual support for the UN Security Council Resolution number 2719 of 2023 on financing Africa Union peace support operations, which has now put the vexed issue of the financing of African peacekeeping operations on a more stable and predictable basis. Over the course of the next 2 years, Ghana looks forward to working closely with your governments on the United Nations Human Rights Council, to which she was elected with 179 votes, in third place in the African bloc, 3 votes behind first place Malawi, to address key global issues that affect our socio-economic development, including the empowerment and protection of women and children and the promotion of economic development. With the hosting of the Secretariat of the Climate Vulnerable Forum, CVF in Accra, which groups together 58 of the most climate vulnerable countries, with a combined population of 1.4 billion people, Ghana will once again be at the forefront of advocating for global support for vulnerable countries in dealing with the ravages of climate change. And we count on your support. As you may know, my very able, hard-working Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, the Honorable Shirley Ayoko Buche, is in the race for the position of the Secretary General of the Commonwealth on the completion of the mandate in October of the current Secretary General, Baroness Patricia Scotland, KC. I believe you share our view that she's eminently qualified for the position. The Commonwealth is an organization formed to champion the values of democracy, good governance, and equitable and inclusive development amongst Commonwealth member states, values she will strongly promote. We will count on the gracious support of all esteemed member states of the Commonwealth for her election in October at the impending Shogom Summit in Samoa, which is intended to help revitalize the organization and strengthen multilateralism and strategic alliances at the global level. Excellencies, the political situation in the West African region and its associated security challenges of terrorism and violent extremism are matters of global concern. In view of recent developments within the region, Ghana, as an active member of ECOWAS, will collaborate with other members' countries to safeguard democratic governance, peace, and security, as well as to fulfill the aspirations of its citizens for regional economic integration. We're optimistic that through shared values and consensus building, ECOWAS will overcome its current difficulties and experience peace, unity, and economic advancement. Within the context of Africa's interests and the objectives of AU Agenda 2063, we desire collectively a peaceful and secure Africa, grounded on the principles of democracy, good governance, respect for human rights, peace, and security, and people-driven development, particularly for women and the youth. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, with its secretariat located in Accra, is the framework through which we can achieve economic integration for the African continent. The participation of Ghana and 7 other countries in the Guided Trade Initiative will stimulate intra-African trade, amplify our competitive advantage, and solidify our status within the global market. This has enabled us to make significant inroads into the East African market, notably into Kenya and Tanzania. Over 700 AFCFTA certified products from Ghana, such as cosmetics, processed foods, beverages, coconut oil, shea butter, and garments, have been targeted at the AFCFTA market under the Guided Trade Initiative. The Diaspora Engagement Policy, which was recently launched at Jubilee House, the seat of our nation's presidency, seeks to harness human and material resources of the African diaspora for the socio-economic transformation of Ghana and Africa. The government in this regard will pursue strategic partnerships with countries and international organizations in areas of investments, skills and knowledge transfer to enhance international trade.
Speaking there to members of the diplomatic corps at the Peduasi Lodge yesterday. That's how we conclude today's edition of the show. Show being produced by Nana Kobna Welson, Sami Weafe, and Beverly London. Production assistance be given by Desmond Nyaku. Social media support by Edwin Kwakofi and Daniel Abugri. My name is Selom Adonu. Earlier you heard Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Have a good evening.
City News. We speak first.